Are we going to see Spirit Breaker?
Spirit Breaker there's no bounty, but Spirit Breaker is still open for them.
Yeah, it's kind of strange because Vici, I think, was actually the first team to use Spirit Breaker in the offlane for Ice Ice Ice. They were in the experimental phase where they tried like Riki offlane and a lot of other ones, but Spirit Breaker was the one they actually had a lot of success with against the blinkers like Queen of Pain, and now MVP Phoenix have kind of used it in their own special way.
I have a question regarding Lina in combination with Bounty Hunter. Earlier today, Nahas tweeted out that those two together have had an unbeaten record, 5-0. Is there any kind of hidden synergy between the Bounty Hunter and Lina that I'm completely missing here?
Kill people, get gold.
Oh, yeah, that would be the obvious one, but you can do that with any combination with Bounty Hunter, right? Or what makes Lina so special?
I mean, she can just always take a hero down. It's kind of like suicide with techies, right? You just blast someone with your Laguna, you're going to die.
That's why he also has on rate against Bounty Hunter.
I don't really think you can look too much into it. Yeah,
it's a very mobile hero with the movement speed. They usually get a dagger, Shadow Blade. They're just looking for pickoffs as well. And Bounty Hunter, just reveals a hero that's by himself, and then Lina just pushes him down, and it's an easy kill. It's a lot of pressure on the map.
It's a lot of lane pressure too. Like Lina, will always pressure her opponent in the mid lane. We haven't seen Viper. Viper's the only one I really think she can't pressure that much. But
if you're looking for something that's not that obvious, as what we were saying right now, Lina is also one of those heroes that just push the lanes all the time. And when you want to kill people, you need to make sure your lanes are pushed, so they actually defend, so they reveal their positions, you know where they are, and that's how you're gonna get kills. And so Lina helps with that.
Yeah, that's like kind of hidden synergy between the heroes. It's not obvious, but it actually works very well together.
Yep.
For VG Gaming, unfortunately not happening because they banned out the Bounty Hunter themselves.
Dazzle, Spirit Breaker. This is a fighting lineup.
Rubik, man. They need the Rubik. I think Rubik's good for Spirit Breaker. It's been like first ban versus Vici a lot, too, and of course FY can carry with that.
Would you not say that for MVP Phoenix it's smart to ban out the Rubik? Because it is so obvious,
definitely.
especially now that Clock is picked up. Second phase Rubik ban, Respect ban.
Looking at their lineup, so they have Clockwork and Lina, and Vici is taking out PL. Like Clockwork has like kind of a hard time dealing with a illusion-based hero.
They're not. What about Anti-Mage? We saw Anti-Mage a lot yesterday. Spirit Breaker can kind of deal with them. Lina can also kind of deal with them. I'm not sure if either teams are really looking for it.
There's still the Queen though, so I'm just seeing the pattern where it's not only LGD and see that every other team is like, Queen is not the hero we want to prioritize anymore.
Definitely.
Has something to do with the Lina as well, because Lina beats the Queen in the lane mostly, and it sort of eliminates some of her versatility in the early game.
It might also be just because of the super long cooldown on her ultimate that has kind of been shunned in favor of ultimates that are like on a minute cooldown, like Clock Lina.
How about Darkseer for either of these teams? Had an immense success yesterday in most of the matches. I think in terms of win rate in this main event, it's actually 77%.
I feel like if one of those teams pick Darkseer, then it's going to be MVP Phoenix.
Yeah, because Clockwork for PG already.
And there's also a lot of synergy between Spirit Breaker and Darkseer.
But I feel they mostly prioritize, like if they were to pick the Darkseer right now for MVP in their next pick, it's going to be a support Spirit Breaker. And it's not so much of team fight, and it doesn't really feel like MVP is a team that they want to go for a very heavy single target support. They mostly go for team fight supports like Witch Doctor.
We might see a Queen of Pain safe lane because Clockwork he's a very good offlane hero, but if there's one safe laner, like one of those that you really don't want to face, it's Co-op, Razor, Viper, those safe laners, they just destroy Clockwork. And he's very good at getting experience versus any tri-lane. When you face a very strong tri-lane, your off-laner is usually Clockwork because he just cogs the creeps and like messes with the lane equilibrium anyway.
It also opens up for mid TA, which I think actually matches up really, really well versus Lina.
Unfortunately, TA removed.
Oh, she's banned. Oh,
it would have been a great pick.
Oh, I like that.
Early maiden pick. So it's most likely going to be a Lina mid. I'd say I don't think Maiden plus Lina support is such a combo. It has a lot of burst damage, but
Fire Nice, it's sisters.
Nice.
They do the same pretty much. They nuke people. It's not very reliable disables. I don't think they're a good support duo.
Fair enough. And Super plays an amazing Lina as well.
It's funny to see that yesterday Naga was such a contested pick, but between the two teams right now, no one is actually touching the hero.
Yeah, East versus East, they just ignored.
That's what I love about that TI is that the meta is so different. Every game It's exactly what RTZ said yesterday. Actually, every game has its own meta. Like all the teams, they can go for different picks, different playstyles, and none of those is actually weaker. It's just everything's viable so far.
So there we go. That nuts Witch Doctor. I think we had a stat before. Like he was the Witch Doctor that actually dealt the most damage, or something along the lines.
He played an amazing Witch Doctor. He did so much versus Empire.
I find that for not playing Witch Doctor, it's normally his positioning that is so on point. He finds that spot for his ultimate, not able to get interrupted at all, and just his positioning is the reason why his Witch Doctor is so insane.
And talk about the battle of the Singaporeans. Clockwork will be played by ISSI, so it'll be the Clock's job to actually make sure that doesn't happen in the fights.
Definitely. It's really like a fighting lineup for MVP Phoenix, honestly. They're looking for fights. They have a lot of heals, they have a lot of sustain. Rubik. So it is actually for sure Lina mid, or it could be another role, but Rubik from FY. Rubik and Maiden, not also the greatest support duo. I mean, if you look at Vichi's gaming lineup right now, they're again looking for a hard carry, because you lack a lot of physical damage. Yeah. Sure, the Lina brings a bit of anti-BKB, but besides that, I mean, I feel like Maiden, Rubik, and Clockwork together, they're very early game oriented.
It's actually House Luna that gets removed. I also find that VG Gaming, looking at their lineup, they seem kind of squishy.
I wouldn't be surprised to see, for example, a Spectre pick. That's the type of
that's
hero
what
I'm
they
looking
need.
for.
That's what they need. A hero that can actually clean up, carry to the late game, tanky. It fits that criteria for sure.
They have a lot of anti-push, so they can go late game.
What about an anti-mage still?
It could work, but I feel like anti-mage...
Too much pressure, maybe.
Yeah. I don't think anti-mage is the best hero, because he's really not going to be able to join fights early at all, maybe even later. They have really good heroes versus anti-mage. They have a lot of physical and control. I'd like to see a Spectre here.
Yeah, Spectre is really good at... We talk about Witch Doctor he's going to be able to deal damage from behind, but Spectre is the carry that you can find him no matter what.
Exactly.
So that's a good way of dealing with the Witch Doctor.
And they don't have so much AoE, like they can't really control Spectre's ulti. They're all gonna take a lot of damage from it.
Yeah, the only issue with that is I feel it's similar to anti-mage. She's going to be under pressure in the lane, because laning phase is more or less worse than AM even.
A hero they could go for as well that could work really well would be a Naga carry right now for Richigimi. I don't know if they play that. Ooh, that's very interesting. That's QO start.
That's just like a MVP lineup,
Yeah,
Fight.
it really is. Just go for fights. I think Naga carry could do a lot for Vici Gaming. They have nothing versus Illusions right now. Even PL, but PL is banned. So I could see a Naga carry. It's also a very strong lane. They're not going to be under pressure too early.
They need someone that can actually deal with everything, like carry the whole team through.
I think it's much safer to go with the Spectre pick, because she can fight a lot more early, and MVP Phoenix is going to be fighting all the time.
It's just that the laning phase and the early game for the Spectre is going to be very, very difficult against Slug and Spirit Breaker. They don't really need much to pressure you. They just need their levels, and Spectre will be under heavy fire against those two heroes.
What carry would you prefer?
I'd see Naga, honestly. I think they have nothing with Illusions, and if Naga gets to that stage, he's going to have a good early game, because you have Clockwork, Lina, Maiden, Rubik. Those lanes are really strong.
I don't think they have much options, so they need someone to be able to carry everything, and Naga is one of those heroes.
Yeah, I feel they have nothing versus Naga and MVP Phoenix. They actually have 0 AoE.
What about a Juggernaut, just to throw that out there?
I think it's so because they have a lot of spells against Juggernaut, like actually almost all their spells. Spirit Breaker, ulti, the Weave, obviously the physical damage.
Grave as well.
Graves.
What about Sniper?
Pop ulti. Sniper could work, but Blink Sniper... Oh! That's interesting. That's a Howard hero. That hero could work, actually. They don't have a lot of disables. That's a great hero to think of.
That's the first time, right? The hero has
I think so, yes.
It is, yeah. It is a first time pick at TI5 for Morphling. So let's head over to our commentary team for the opening game of the day with Toby One and Cinderin.
Thank you very much. Yes, it is time to get underway with VG Gaming as MVP of VG Gaming. Of course, they're no strangers to TI. They've made it to the grand final before, but MVP, they're upsetting everyone with their victories every single time, and they're such a bunch of nice guys.
Yeah, it's hard not to be an MVP fan. I think they're really nice, and the same could be said for Vici Gaming, right? All of their results. It's really cool. What I really like about this event is that we get to see the personal stories of some of the players that, at least generally the Western following, don't know too much about a lot of the Chinese players. So it's really cool that we get to see, for example, this profile on FY and Vici in general. So it gives you a little bit more insight into what's going on behind the scenes for the players. And Yeah, what a draft this is. I cannot believe we're getting a Slark and a Morphling in the same game. This is two heroes that have... I think this might be like the second or third Slark pick of the entire tournament. I think it's the first of the main event. Thinking twice, it might only have been picked once before, and it might have been MVP in the group stages. Actually, QO, I do believe, played the Slark earlier. And first overall pick of Morphling, crazy stuff. I think the Slark pick is great. You look over Vici's lineup until they pick the Morphling. Slark is actually really good against all these like predictable stuns, such as Light Strike Array follow-up. You can easily just pre-cast it before you get lifted by Rubik. You can break out a Frostbite. And he's also good against Clock and Lane. You can actually just run in and fight him, and you can jump into the cogs. You can pounce over the cogs and into there, which is really important, and pounce out of them as well. So very interesting mechanic for that individual matchup.
And if we were looking for MVP to give us something, we always knew it was going to be some kind of unique pick. These guys were known for running heroes, which may not be the standard meta, being like, we always think back to Warlock. MVP kept running this, even though most other teams were not looking at it. And VG Gaming to pick up a Morphling, there was a lot of debate going on during the group stages about like what heroes wouldn't be touched, and Morphling was one on the tip of the tongue of everyone. And the question was going to be like, how could you make him work? And most of the discussion was ending up in a strength-based off-lane Morphling. You use him for his long stun, almost like a Beastmaster. And now we see him in the hard #1 position in Hao's hands. So we're actually going to see a fighting Morphling coming out from VG Gaming.
Yeah, the off-lane strength Morphling got nerfed, got hit really hard by the adaptive strike nerf. Being changed from being instant to an 1150 travel speed, which sounds really fast, and it is, but it allows you to dodge it with like links, stuff like puck space shift, that kind of stuff. It makes it all a lot less flexible as a pick.
Just to also flag out the lanes, you were talking about the Slark being so good up against someone like a Clockwork. They've actually decided to safe lane it